So it's crazy to say, but Battlefield 1 is nearly 7 years old since its release back in 2016, and at the time, this game was simply unbeatable. So today, I wanted to go back down memory lane and take you guys with me, and share my experience with the game and what it made to me and how unbeatable it was at times for me as a player. Hopefully you guys can watch through and then share your experience in the comments on how the game was for you guys through the years since its release and what you enjoyed most. So, like, subscribe if you're new, and let's take a look back at Battlefield 1. So this was the introduction to the series for me personally, although I did understand the game and what came before. As I looked into the franchise upon its release, I was also playing DICE's Battlefront 1, which I will save for another time. But Battlefield 1 did something I feel not many other games at the time, or versions of the series that came before it, did. It managed to really captivate me into what it felt like to be in a war, to the sound design, the weapon design, the visuals, the story, and mixing the story with multiplayer with the operations mode, along with its fun arcade style shooter-like gameplay, really set this game up well for me anyways. So let's start with the campaign. I'll try to keep each section brief and also labelled down in the description so you can use that to skip to each section and get my opinion on them. But the campaign was an absolute treat in this game. I mean, wow, it took you through each certain character's story from each side of the war and played you through their stories from Lawrence of Arabia to Up in the Skies to down on the battlefield with Big Bess. Definitely more about story than trying to make it tricky for the player to play. This was all about getting the player to really put their mind into the soul of these people and what it meant to sacrifice for the greater good. My personal favourite has to be the Italian-based memory war story, but all are great. The Gallipoli and the Lawrence of Arabia ones were fantastic as well. I just wish they added more with each DLC. But gameplay was diverse and engaging, and anyone who hasn't played should go and play these, as the graphics, sound design and story still hold up to this day. So switching to the multiplayer, they added a lot here that really just worked for me in this game, one of the main ones being Operations. This was a new game mode, large scale attack or defense based story match. Attacking sectors to regain or defend land depending on which side you were on. This is the story based part of the multiplayer that I was saying that really hit it for me in this game. Each section on this world map that you can see on the screen has a small dialogue for each battle that happened here, and when you load in, one of the soldiers from each side are also giving their thoughts or a small cheeky line, whether it's the British or the Ottomans again, driving the story and really engaging me as the player to get involved with the war or the operation that I'm about to play. Additionally, they added behemoths to Battlefield 1, which were also used in the Operations game mode. So when a team was lackluster or the attacking side was struggling to push through, or someone who was struggling and was just getting whitewashed on the defense, these were added on the second or third tickets so that teams weren't so unbalanced and would give the weaker side more firepower to help them throughout the war or the operation. This ranged from dreadnoughts to elite kits, which I'll speak about in a second, super heavy tanks, etc, etc. These, once destroyed, became playable areas of Battlefield 1's new destruction system, allowing for the map to always be altered. This level of gameplay was amazing for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing Operations, with the Battle of Verdun being my favourite. Now, not all were perfectly balanced, but I personally really enjoyed this part of the game, and for me, a highlight of what Battlefield 1 has to offer. You then have a lot of your standard modes in the game like Conquest, Team Deathmatch, and a few other added modes like War Pigeons and a few other game modes as well. But with this, they added more to the game, especially within Conquest. Things like behemoths were appearing here, as well as the elite kits, which I previously mentioned a second ago. Now, Battlefield, along with the behemoths, introduced new things to the game, like elite kits being one of them and the sweet spot mechanic being another. Both hit or miss by the fans for many reasons. I personally really enjoyed the elite kits, being able to wax your opponent on fire in holes of room, or just simply spraying down a streetway with the MG, or even the added addition like the Trench Raider probably being the most popular one within the community. I absolutely loved these in the game, forcing the teammates to play together and around each other to support these stronger kits to help them push through areas, or just help them killstreak and whatever else you decide to do with them. I had a lot of fun with my friends or on my own with the elite kits in Battlefield 1. The sweet spot, however, is something I know a lot of players didn't enjoy in this game. Each weapon had this certain range that would allow you to one-shot your opponent if shot within the chest. This range was going with the classic World War I bolt-action rifle idea that if you got shot once and it was a clean shot, you died. Some liked it, some hated it. I'll let you guys decide in the comments below. As for the progression system in this game, it wasn't anything special, but it wasn't poor either. It was simple and to the point with a level/XP based system that once you capped out your level within the class, you would unlock high tier weapons and sidearms for each class, with the sidearms being universal to mostly each class depending on which one you used. The skins in this game were also nice, but similar to one another, with each skin having a black, bronze, gold or silver finish, with a few others having more of a maroon finish or something of the sort. And this was done through a battle pack system that, to be honest, I didn't mind and was also obtainable through just playing the game with XP and leveling up. So these didn't really bother me, although I do understand that people didn't like this because they would pay and get similar items, or some battle packs had locked items so you couldn't get all the skins in the game. I understand that, but these were all purely cosmetic though, so no pay to win here, EA. So I would say with this game that the replayability, although the game is really enjoyable, in terms of the progression system, there is a max level cap of 150 and each class caps out at level 50 once they fully updated the game. But after level 10 on each class and past, I would say level 100, you're kind of just playing the game more for enjoyment rather than getting anything apart from the battle packs, which, like I said, you can earn unlimitedly as long as you just play the game. You don't get lots, but what I do with these is I just scrap the war bonds and just use them anyway to buy stuff out of the store that's there that have like a selection of guns and skins that you can use in the game. So there is kind of a replayability, but also in the same time, kind of not. But again, this didn't bother me, but I'd like to know what you think of the battle pack system in the comments as well. Onto the map design and the sound design for this game. The maps for the most part were truly incredible. I thought this was another highlight of the game, an absolute treat for players. The maps, the sound design, the trenches, the AAs, the buildings, the destruction, the hallways, although they were a little bit linear and the map was a little bit spammy, or how do I say it, the gameplay was more spammy for a lot of the grenades based on how the maps were created. It did make sense for the style of game that they were going to, the way that they wanted the operations and the conquests and the war pigeons to all be played out. Each game mode obviously taking parts of maps and putting them into other areas, so they weren't super optimal, but they were good enough. The map design in this game was truly fantastic and something I really enjoyed. The trenches, the boots on the ground, the little bunkers, the hallways was really great, along with the sound design. When you go inside, your guns sound like way more louder, the grenades are way more louder, the gas is way more visible and louder, the blurry vision when you have the gas, then when you put the gas mask on. These sound designs, visual design and map design really enhance the feel and realism of the game that Battlefield 1 brought to the players. Also, I just want to quickly mention on top of the sound design, the music. The music for this game is fantastic. I'm going to actually link a playlist, it's not even mine, in the description, so you guys can actually go and listen to it. The soundtrack for this game is one of the best. So after going all that, I do have to mention there is some flaws in the game. They're not super bad, like a lot of launch bugs, a lot of grenade spam at the start of the game. It is a DICE game and an EA game, so there were a lot of bugs and issues with the game, but a lot of them have been patterned out. And now when you go back, and I still play the game every day, I still really enjoy the game every day. I still use it and have used it through the last 6 years of my life to play when trying to keep myself busy or trying to keep my head away from certain things. Whatever you might use the game for, the game is still fantastic, and each game that comes out have their issues and have their bugs, and as long as they can kind of get through that and have an overall finished, clean, polished game like Battlefield 1 did, with a great campaign, a great multiplayer, an array of multiplayer modes to choose from, new behemoths, new elite kits, new systems and mechanics to the game, I feel like is a recipe for a good game and its release. But I would really like to know what you guys think about Battlefield 1. Do you still play it? Did you enjoy it? What did you think at the time of the game? And what would you like to see for the Battlefield series and franchise going forward? This game did a lot for me going over the years and still does, and I play it to this day. And the game is probably the most active Battlefield that I have seen. I'll put a metric on the screen now for you guys. But I'm pretty sure on Steam and even on Xbox and PlayStation when I played it, I can find lobbies whenever I want most of the time. There may not be something there on the server browser, but you just have to keep refreshing it because it doesn't show you servers that are full. It just shows you servers that are available slots for you to join. So, like I said, I'd like to know your opinions down below. Do you still play it? Do you enjoy it? What did you make of it at the time? And what did you make of my opinions in today's video? Again, let me know all in the comments down below. I won't drag this out anymore. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on, join my Discord, and let's get chatting, guys. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and if you made it to the end, thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.